I forgot to unmute myself. All right. What's happening, everybody? We're live here on the Rogue Report, where we are going to answer your questions, talk about printing, all that good stuff like we do every week here. It's been a crazy week here in the shop since I talked to you guys last. We're about to try and make some huge changes in there. That's for sure. So while we wait for you guys' questions to come in, I'll start talking a little bit about that. Also, I'm going to try to keep this stream short. I've said it like 3-4 weeks in a row now. I have to do it on this one. We are so behind on a bunch of shit, and that's part of why we are trying to make a bunch of changes right now. So right now we're trying to make a shift into something I never thought I would be doing and would be excited about, but the shift is to try and get me out of the shop. This is, not something I really wanted to do, but it's what makes the most sense for the business right now. Every time I'm able to sit down at my desk and work with customers, work with our marketing ideas, work with just general stuff that's not working in the business, working on the business, we see tremendous growth. We see huge sales. We see a lot, and it's time for me to be a shop owner and business owner, not be an employee of the business, essentially. And so we're starting to try and make a big shift towards that. We're really pushing now. All of a sudden, we saw what can happen when I take that position. Everybody realizes that's a good thing, and so we're going for it big time. And man, it's hard. That's something I really want to do. I enjoy printing shirts so fucking much, but I'm definitely more valuable to the company as the business owner and growing it. So that's what we're going to be doing here for the next little while, trying to figure that out. And I'm also creating tons of standards and SOPs and stuff in the background right now so that we're able to do that, so that I can step away without people needing to ask a bunch of questions or shit really hitting the fan. So creating SOPs like you saw on my Instagram the last couple of days on Reclaim, how exactly that process works, making a visual board on how it works so that when we hire new employees, because we're about to hire some more, again, they know what to do without having to go through a big long training process and having to bother the press operator on how to do this and whatnot. So I'm having to make a bunch of these SOPs to get us through this so that I can start stepping away. And man, it's a lot of work. I was doing it the entire time from when the shop closed today at like 5 o'clock until I hopped on this. That's why I'm late. I was just sitting there clacking away at the keyboard, creating another SOP for the long form version of the Reclaim so that there's everything in there so that you know how to do like troubleshooting if there's anything that comes up, and real detailed steps versus the sign that we put on the wall that was more of a simplified version. And the next will be the CTS and the operations on preprint stuff so that Jordan can take that over. We were just talking about that today. Me and Brad are working on some stuff. Actually, you guys don't even know Brad yet. Brad's going to be in this week's video, the new video. We finally introduced him, even though he's been working here for 3 months now. That's how far ahead we are on the videos. So yeah, me and him are working on a lot of stuff, learning the tech side of stuff, how we can really improve our workflow in the day-to-day, getting jobs through in and out the door. He's really killing on the embroidery side. We're trying to just streamline everything in the shop. My head is in the game big time right now. So a lot of big changes going on, man. It's pretty crazy. So let's start getting in your guys' questions and stop talking about my bullshit. We'll start hitting you guys up here. What do we got here? We got a bunch of stuff. What time do you go to sleep and what time do you wake up? That seems like a pretty basic question, but that's something that everyone should probably know, is that you need to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. And that's something that I'm trying to grind into myself, because on the weekends I tend to kind of like, I can stay up late and I can do a little more of this because I feel like I don't know, my brain's just more creative at night and I just have more ideas at night. So when I start watching YouTube videos, because that's pretty much all I do when I have some free time nowadays, for the past like month, I just watch YouTube videos on how to improve myself, either as just a human being, as a businessman, as the fitness stuff, the mental shit I'm working on, like all of it. That's all I've been doing every day, is just watching YouTube videos on how to get better at all this stuff. And sometimes at night I can go on forever and end up staying up way too damn late, but I still wake up at the same time every day. So typically I like to be in bed at like 10:30, chill out there for a little while, watch some TV, watch a YouTube video, whatever. And then I wake up at 7 every single day. And I try to keep that pretty consistent. I don't wake up at like, the 5 a.m. club and all that type of stuff. I don't really subscribe to all that. I mean, it does work because you can get a lot more work done very early in the morning because no one is bothering you. But if you're you're still awake the same amount of time, kind of thing, right? If you're going to bed at, or waking up at 5, you're going to bed at 9. You go to bed at 11, you're waking up at 7. It's the same amount of hours. It's just a matter of how you delegate them. I tried the whole 5 a.m. thing for a while, and yeah, it does work, but it's just not for me. It's hard to sustain. I just don't like it. You know, you're going to bed at 9 o'clock. People are still doing shit at 9 o'clock. People are like, hey, you want to hang out? You want to do this or that? It's too hard, man. But yeah, so I'm like usually 11 o'clock to 7. That seems like a good sweet spot for me. I still get the same amount of shit done and feels good. Oh, we got a super chat. Jackson Ryan Creative. What is up, sir? Thank you very much for the $10. I appreciate it. Well, thank you for tuning in every week. And I guess I will be seeing you this weekend in our live coaching call, which, by the way, if you guys want to do that with me one-on-one, there's a link in the description to do one-on-one coaching calls. Basically, it's a version of this, but we're just addressing you and your problems alone and the stuff that you want to fix, the stuff that you need coaching and help on. We can help you out. So if you guys want to do one of those, head to my website below. You can book a time. We do those every Saturday, Sunday. And yeah, we'll get that done. But thank you very much, Jackson Ryan. I very much appreciate that. So anyways, we're going to go get into these questions, as I said, which I did not do just yet. Here we go. Mike, how are you selling? Do you have someone doing marketing for you in that aspect? So that's going to be the role that I'm taking over currently. Up until now, we've been strictly organic. We have done zero marketing, zero advertising, zero outbound sales. Everything that has come to the shop to this day has been 100% organic. So it's either come through people getting reached through this YouTube channel or our Instagram or whatever, but we have never, ever gone out and actively searched for leads. It's all just been completely organic and word of mouth. Word of mouth is our strongest marketing tool by far, especially in the last year or so, year and a half, whatever it's been since I've been active in the new shop. We have gained such a stronghold over the local market over the past little while, and we're still just continually growing and growing and growing because our work is, well, it speaks for itself. Our work is fucking awesome, and we're just really easy to deal with compared to a lot of the other print shops in town. So that makes it pretty easy for people to want to work with us. So word is just kind of spreading like wildfire, and that's the next step for me, is to start doing that outbound sales stuff and really reaching and getting in front of people, getting in front of their faces, getting their business. That's the next move for me. I have it pretty planned out. I'm not going to lie. I'm in the middle of taking a sales class with one of the heavy hitters in the industry that does this stuff. We're going to be doing some videos about that in the very near future together. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have him on as a guest here on one of these live streams in the next little while as well. He has a course, class, whatever, and I'm also working with him one-on-one. So once I'm complete all of that stuff, then we're going to start showing you guys everything that I've learned, and also showing how it works, seeing if it works, you know, me putting it into action in a video and seeing if we can get these sales, get these leads, get things to happen. Because what we need to do is we need to grow to a higher class of clientele, essentially. We can't be doing these 24 or 48 piece orders anymore. Like, we still will, but we don't want that to be the day-to-day type of thing anymore. We don't want to be setting up and breaking down every single day, multiple times a day. We want to set up, you know, once every 3 days and be printing hundreds or thousands of shirts kind of thing at a time. So that's the goal, is to get into these larger markets, larger clients, pull them in and let them, you know, work with us. So we'll see how this all goes down. It should be pretty cool. Well, thank you very much, Anthony. Your quality content has pretty much been your marketing. It has. It's been huge, huge help in my marketing. That's one thing I will say, is this YouTube channel has been basically like what kicked off the business entirely in the beginning. And that was always intentional in the back of my head. I always knew that this is going to be a powerful tool as it grows in terms of marketing myself and my business, because it's not only going to show that, hey, we do screen printing and whatever, right? Because there's a million people that do that. That's, you know, any jack off can do that. It's the fact that they can get an inside look into the business and get an inside look into me and my work ethic and how I treat their product and how I treat printing and how I, you know, attack things in a way where I'm like scrutinizing the details and that type of stuff. That I knew was going to be a big selling point, is if people came across these videos that were interested in being customers. And sure enough, I was right, and it works big time. And we still get customers on a very regular basis that come in and be like, hey, we saw some of your videos. We saw what you're like when it comes down to the quality and how much you care about the product that you make. You're the type of person that we want to work with. So if you're going to be starting to make content, anybody out there, I implore you to make that your thing. Kind of show, it doesn't have to be, you know, the way that I do it. It could be anything else. You could be, you know, the most sustainable print shop. You could be the nicest print shop, the funniest print shop, whatever. Anything that's going to resonate with your target customer. That's all you got to be. Just show more about yourself and your shop, that you're more than just printing fucking shirts, because everybody just shows that, right? So that's the best piece of advice I could give you when it comes to going down that road. Oh, I must be on a big delay here. 456 Print Co. up at 5 a.m. every day, no matter what. Have kids. Yeah, I don't have kids, so that's a big advantage for me. I don't have to get woken up every day. I got a dog who's pretty annoying, but he wakes up at like 7 o'clock. That's kind of his time. 7:30. You can hear him. He starts barking, getting up. He's got to piss. So that's kind of, he's on the same schedule now. Oh, here's one. Paul Roses. I'm about to make a big purchase on a roll-and printer. Would you suggest the TrueViz VG640 or something else? I plan on getting a laminator and a Suma one with it. Well, I'm just going to straight up say it. Don't get the Suma. I own 2 of them, and they're fucking paperweights. Never again will I ever buy one of their products, period. It's one of them I'm not going to lie, one of them I got for free, and I still won't use it. It's terrible. When it comes to the printer, we'll get into that in a minute, but when it comes to the printer, I'm going to say use whatever is the most readily available for service. So printers, they break down. They're going to need replacement parts. They're going to need heads after, every 5-6 years, whatever. You're going to need tech support. And what it comes down to is who can provide you that service. Basically, who's the closest to you, who can do it the fastest. That is what's going to determine what printer you should get. I used to kind of go after what was the coolest, what had the most features. That's always been kind of my thing. Now I've learned over the last couple of years, it's all about who can service it and who can service it the fastest. I have a Roland printer. I absolutely love it. The printer itself is awesome, but our local service for Roland is dog shit. It is the worst experience ever. They're worthless. And I've had to learn how to service a printer myself more than once, and now I'm coming to the point where it's going to need a head replacement, and I'm going to have to learn how to do that myself too, because I just will not deal with those people anymore, because I needed a simple cap top replacement, and I went back and forth with these people for 3 or 4 months, and still nothing happened. It was just nonstop, like, oh yeah, we'll be there next week, we'll be there next week, we'll be there next week, and nobody showed up. It's a $70 part, something that takes 10 minutes to fix, and they couldn't fucking do it. So what it comes down to is the service. Who can do this service the fastest? What I've experienced now with other machines breaking down, I'm buying based on service now. Like when it came down to our CTS just recently had some issues. They flew a tech up the next day from Texas all the way up to Canada to come in and fix this thing, get it done, and get us back running again. That's the type of service you need. With our rock, we're usually a couple days out on service. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. There's definitely, in terms of where we're at in Canada, like we just don't have readily available techs around. If you're somewhere that's a major hub in the US, of course, you can have techs there the same day. When it comes to our Tajima, we have a tech here in town, which is great. Anything that RB Digital sells, we have techs readily available nearby. They're there the same day when something goes down. Awesome. So buy whatever you can get service the fastest. But I will say the Roland printers themselves are really fucking awesome machines. So I have nothing really bad to say about it. I have my VG2 and I absolutely love it. And it's unfortunate that their local dealer are a bunch of useless boobs, because I would buy a VG3 right now if they weren't. So I'm thinking of switching brands to something that RB Digital sells. They both sell, what do they sell? They sell Epson and they sell Mamaki right now. So it's more than likely going to be one of those two when I buy a new printer. And then, when it comes to the Suma, I'm going to say, yeah, that was... Again, this is a case of terrible, terrible, terrible service. They would not fix my cutter at all. They've tried basically arguing with me that it was my fault and then my material's fault over and over again for both. The excuse they gave me, this is the crazy one. I fucking freaked out on someone on the phone for this. They're like, your laminate, it's your laminate's fault. Your laminate is too slippery. How fucking stupid is that? A response. I was like, look, dude, I've used the same print material and same laminate for the past 2 years, issue free. And all of a sudden now it's a problem? No, that's ridiculous. And even if that was a possibility, like, no, that just can't happen. yeah, anyways, there's a big software issue on the cutters that I have where it's just not registering stuff correctly and it's cutting a little bit off. And so you're cutting a circle sticker that has a little border on it. It's wonky as shit and would not straighten out no matter what. And after months and months of this, they ended up sending me a new one. The new one started doing the exact same thing out of the box. And I was like, look, this has to be a software issue. It can't be the machine. It has to be software. And they argue with me forever about that no, it's not. It's all my fault, all this other stuff, and whatever. So I literally gave up. I said, you know what? After dealing with their texts for like weeks and weeks and weeks, they actually stopped answering the phone. They hung up on me and stopped answering my calls. I'm not kidding you. And emails, everything, I got ghosted completely. And I was just like, you know, fuck these guys. So I went and I bought a Graph Tech the very next day. It showed up. They installed it, and it's been issue-free ever since. It's been perfect. So if you want a cutter, get a Graph Tech. I'll say that, especially if you're making the die cut, like full cut through stickers. That is definitely the way to go either way. It does a way better job than the Suma ever did on it. The Suma beats it in terms of kiss cut stickers when you're doing like intricate transfer decals and stuff like that because of the true tangential head. I will say it does a way better job at that kind of stuff, but we hardly ever do those kind of stickers ever. And actually, I just made the decision yesterday that we're just going to stop making them altogether because they're a pain in the ass. And the return on that for us in terms of profit is so low that it's just not worth it anymore. So we're just going to stick to stickers and stickers alone. So if you're going to try to just make stickers, the Graph Tech with the little cutting groove blows it out of the water. Makes a huge difference. So, and if you guys watched that video back when I first got the Suma, I was complaining about the software and I talked about how bad it was. And I got on a call with their engineers about it because they saw the video and they were like upset about it. And I told them all the problems with that software. And again, they were arguing with me about it, that it was my fault, not theirs. I was like, look, I didn't fucking design this. I'm not the one who's having a problem with making something user intuitive. None of this shit makes sense. And they were pretty butthurt about that. So that's probably why they didn't try and help me out too bad. Anyway, enough talking shit. Now I could do that for a while. They pissed me off in a big way. I could probably go on much worse. I'll keep some of that to myself. Let's catch up. Yeah, it's cats. I forgot to lock him up. Surprisingly, he's not being super annoying right now and just going back and forth across the camera and the microphone because that's usually what he does. There we go. So how did you load, pull, and catch on the rock by yourself? This is something I need to make a video on because I have it written down. It was like 3 tips to run a print shop by yourself. One of the tricks that I came up with was obviously you can run the press, loading and pulling the shirts by yourself, relatively easy. Some operators do that. Some shops have only one operator on a press. That's not that difficult. It's the catching part. So we had these bins, obviously, on the end of the dryer. And what I did was I set up one of those domed security mirrors on the other end of the dryer so I could see it from the press. And I would just be kind of watching that thing out of the corner of my eye to see when that bin filled up. And then I would move the bin over, roll a new bin in, and just keep rolling that way. That's how I figured that out on my own. It was still not ideal because then you got to pull them all out afterwards and stack them all up. It sucks to work by yourself, but it's definitely a way to get it done. So that's my little trick for that. Oh, now you're starting to be annoying. Damn it. He's going to start trying to unplug the mic. This mic is super sensitive. I don't know. I dropped it one day and now all of a sudden it cuts in and out if I touch that cable. Really? You little turd. Get out of here. You're so freaking cute though. I can hear you purring super loudly. Ugh. All right. No butthole in the face, please. Is there a better option for fleece adhesive? Web spray sucks to use. Normal water-based adhesive doesn't have the grunt. No, water-based adhesive, some people have tried to convince me that it's doable. I don't believe them. It's not possible. At least not, it's not sustainable. I've done it and I've got it to work, but to get it to work over a long run, it takes way too much work. It's just not worth the effort. Web spray is what we stick to right now. We've tried some of the other stuff. We have like the print grip and stuff here too. I just don't think that one's sustainable over a long run either because you have to constantly scrub that shit over and over and over again. You slow way down. It's like way more taxing on your body. I can't do it. So we just rock the web spray. Every single hoodie that goes on, give it a quick blast and we can just run way faster, way more efficiently. I honestly, that's one of the things in the shop that I just don't give a shit about being sustainable. I'm going to say that out loud. Everyone's trying to be eco-friendly, this and whatever else. And like, yeah, it's all good, but like, try printing 1,000 hoodies where you're scrubbing the pallet every single time you're loading it. It's not a good time for anyone, and it just kills people doing their job. It just murders your employees, it kills people's shoulders, it slows the work way down. The adhesive is still best in my books. So I do want to try that new PMI stuff, though. It looks like it's a little bit of a better solution. I'm not sure if it's going to be much better than the print grip. I think it's still going to be probably better for tees, but for hoodies, they just drop way too much lint behind to be able to run, effectively. Here's one. Do you guys do embroidery patches and then sew them on? If so, do you constantly get a good result? If not, any ideas? Heat adhesive sucks. We do have a run stitch that corresponds to the patch. So we don't make patches in house anymore. We were. It's not efficient. Our machine is way better off doing something else, because when you think about how much money a patch is worth versus how much money a hat is worth on that machine, it's 5 times or more. So after I figured that out, I was like, no, we're just not running patches anymore. It's not worth it. But we do apply patches on the machine, so we'll outsource the patches somewhere else, and we'll apply them with the machine. So we'll just do we'll get the digitizer to throw down just a trace stitch to place it, glue it down, and then let it do a run stitch to sew it on. Very simple, very fast. So that's how we do that. But yeah, we do it off and on. We mainly do that for like beanies. We've done it for flat goods. We've done a little bit for hats, not a ton yet. I haven't really shaken that down a lot yet, just because, I got that curved surface to deal with, and sometimes it get a little fucky on you, and I'm a little worried about that. So I usually try and play the safer route and go with heat transfer, because like our heat transfer adhesive, it's not coming off. It's going to rip the front of the hat off before that patch comes off. So for something like that, it's just way faster and more efficient for us to just slap it on with the heat press. But for the other stuff, we'll throw it on with the embroidery machine. Be wary of Mamaki's service too. So this is done, their service, at least here, is done through RB Digital, and I have very good experience with RB Digital service, like extremely good. Obviously, we have a Tajima machine here, and we've had to have them out a few times, and amazing. So they would be the ones servicing a Mamaki machine if I did get it. So they're on the ball with it. How do you not make a mess with the web spray? Yeah, web spray, you got to have the touch. You got to really dial that in. You got to make sure you have like the spray pattern down, like you get that muscle memory, so you're not blasting it off the pallet or onto the pallet arm or anything like that. Like we're pretty good with it. Yeah, it's not easy to work with, but once you do it a lot, like thousands and thousands and thousands of times, not so bad. But yeah, somebody put in here, you can take a little WD-40 and wipe down your pallet arms with it to kind of keep it from sticking, and that does work very well. We actually have a better solution. We use something from the motorcycle industry. It's called, oh shit now. I had something so special, and now I can't fucking remember it for the life of me. Oh man, so stupid. God damn it. It's Maxima product. It's a silicone spray, but it's made for like shining bikes up. I don't know why this is not popping in my brain right now. I've had hundreds of cans of this shit over my lifetime, and I don't know why I can't think of it right now. Maxima SC1. There we go. Oh god, that was embarrassing. But anyways, yeah, it's like a silicone spray type of deal to shine bikes up, basically. And I've been using that in a few areas of the shop because I was like, you know what, this would work for certain stuff. So I use it anywhere that there's going to be glue. It works awesome for it. The glue does not stick. We use it in our little catch can for our CTS. So when it purges the wax out, we actually coat the inside of that thing first before we clean, or after we clean it out, sorry. And that way when the wax builds up in there, it just falls out as a brick. It doesn't actually stick. And it's been working pretty good in the shop for a few different things. And plus, it's a little bit easier to clean up than WD-40 afterwards, so that's kind of why we went towards it. Got some puffy vests needing a left chest embroidery. Any tips? Honestly, there's nothing to it. It's just a matter of hooping it as normal. Depending on who you're getting to do your digitizing, get them probably to throw a knockdown stitch in that thing so that it lays down a flat surface first, and then your design, so that will help quite a bit. So it'll depend on the design, though. Certain designs, you just can't get away with it. If it's like a bunch of text and shit like that, then it'll be just better to just go for it. But if you can lay down some kind of base stitching on there, then that will definitely help greatly. See, we just tried the cami stuff today for the first time, and I actually like it quite a bit. We're using the Albachem, oh God, what was it? The dry web for a while, and it was awesome for years. And I don't know what happened. I feel like there was like a canning mix up at the factory or some shit, but we got like 3 cases recently that were definitely not the dry web. It was the other one that's like this like super, super heavy glue that gets all over, like literally over everything. It's way too aggressive. It's hard. You're like ripping sweatshirts off the pallet afterwards with this stuff. I don't know what the deal is. It's their other web spray, and the dry web was always better, so we leaned towards it. And then for some reason, we got 3 cases of dry web that all are like basically it's the other shit coming out of it. It's definitely not dry web in there, or they changed the dry web or something and ruined it. One of the two. I have no idea. So we just got a test can of the cami stuff just for fun the other day when we ordered supplies, and I tested it out today, and it works pretty good. So we're making the switch over to that. I'm just gonna toss all those other cans out. We got like 2 cases of them, and I'm not even going to try fighting with them anymore. They're getting out of here. They stopped shipping the dry web. Okay. They stopped shipping the dry web to a few states here, so I have to ask for it directly. So ours, we have, it says dry web on the can, but it's not dry web in the can. I know for a fact it's not. So I don't know if maybe they're just getting around it that way. They're just repackaging the other shit as dry web. It ain't dry web. And it leaves like a residue inside the hoodies too. Like it leaves that glue behind in there. It fucking sucks. Yeah, we're gonna make the switch. Here we go. This is actually a great question. I think we kind of went after this in the last one a little bit, but we'll touch on it again. If I'm a sole printer, should I focus on developing a clothing line, or should I print shirts for a service to a local business? So this is going to depend on what do you want your future to be, essentially, because you can't do both. Everyone thinks that they can do both. You cannot do both effectively, not unless you have the staff to do it. You need to be a much bigger shop to do both. I always thought I could do both, and my attention was divided heavily. And divided to the point that, both of them were doing okay, but they were never really going the distance to where they could go because they weren't getting enough attention. And so eventually I had to make up my mind and think like, which one of these has to go? I have to pick one direction or the other. And it was something that I read in a book that's, the man who chases 2 rabbits, he catches none. And it made a lot of sense to me. And it still makes a lot of sense to me today. Every time I think I'm going to add this new thing to my plate, and I'm like, no, no, because you're going to do both kind of half-assed. You got to pick one. So a lot of clothing brands are very successful. A lot of print shops are very successful. It's going to come down to which one do you have the most desire for? Which one do you feel like is the one that you want to go to work every day? I will say, though, the print shop side, from my just personal view, is definitely the safer route when it comes to long-term success and long-term longevity, just because clothing brands, they come and go every day. How many times a day do people start a clothing brand? And like clothing brands all eventually have a shelf life, right? They, sometimes 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and then eventually they're just not cool to people anymore, and they just start falling off, right? It's very, very rare that clothing brands really go the distance and last long periods of time. And those are the big brands that we're talking that make hundreds or millions of dollars or billions of dollars even. The small ones, they all have a shelf life and eventually kind of fizzle out. There are people that have that creativeness in them to keep creating new ones when that starts happening, which is awesome. I know like 3 people that have been able to do that. They just, every time they start a brand that starts to kind of taper out, they start a new one and they move on to that one, kill the other one off, and they're able to stay at this kind of like high level of clothing brands over and over and over again. It's amazing to see. I don't have that level of creativity. I can't do that. So when I was thinking about it, I was like, the print shop makes the most sense because all these clothing brands starting up every day, they all need somewhere to get their shit made. And I want to be that guy making that shit instead, because then, that shop will last for decades and I have something to hand off to someone else one day. So that was my decision maker right there. And it was someone told me the story too. It was like, You got two people in a guitar shop. You got the guy looking at the guitar, want to be a rock star, and you got the guy behind the counter that owns the shop. Which one do you think is more likely to make money? And when I was told that, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. It's kind of a 1 in a million shot for that rock star thing to happen, and it does happen, of course, but it's definitely a lot more difficult, and there's definitely some luck involved in it. It very much applies to clothing brands as well. But that guitar store owner, he's selling guitars all day to people with that dream. And so I'm going to be that guitar store owner selling that dream. So you got to just think of what makes you happy. If clothing brands make you happy, then that's the one to go with. Here we go. Ruben Vargas. I have an embroidery gig going. Only one head. Can't say I have enough embroidery work to get a second head. Also looking at a post-bed sewing machine for patch hats. Any recommendations? I recommend not getting a post-bed machine, period. Patch hats, I mean, yeah, they're okay, but like it's not worth it. I had a post-bed for a couple of months. I made a whole video about it that I scrapped, threw in the garbage, never even put out because I was like, fuck, this sucks. The post-bed machine, like to put patches on, it's a very long, tedious process, and the margins are razor thin. Like, it's not worth it. For me, at least, it wasn't worth it because I was just noticing if I'm going to do this is going to take X amount of time for me doing something more important in the business. After I started doing that math, I was like, I'm going to be fucking losing money on a consistent basis doing this. No, this has got to go. So I tossed it. You're better off getting a heat press and rocking heat applied patches instead, because that you can bang out fast. You can bang them out easy. There's far less of a learning curve, far less mistakes that are going to be made. And you definitely have a wider variety of applications at your fingertips with something like that than you would have with a post bed. So I would go for that over the post bed any day of the week. And plus, it's going to be like half the cost of a post bed. So that's also a big factor. And plus, with the heat press, you can do many other things with it. The hat heat press, obviously, is kind of geared towards hats mainly. But let's say you get into printing one day down the road, you can apply like DTF neck labels with that hat press. You can do a bunch of different little things with it. So it's definitely smarter to go with that, in my opinion. Yeah, I had that post bed for like 2 or 3 months. I only used it for like not even a week. I got good to the point where I was like, okay, I can sew this thing relatively quickly. I can sew it cleanly. But after I started doing that time math, I was like, no fucking way I'm making money doing this. This does not make a whole lot of sense. And it's something that's so niche and bespoke too, right? It's not something that people are going to come to you every day and ask for. It's something that more or less like you have to offer them, versus if they just come in and they say, I want hats. They don't know how they want their hats made. So you can just offer them a heat press hat versus a post bed sewn on hat. They're not going to care or know the difference most of the time, like 95% of the time. Go with what can make you money. So yeah, touching back on the print shop thing, when you first got into printing, was your intention to do client work or solely to print for 38 Ride Coast? That was my intention originally, was solely to print for my own brand. The goal was just to produce my own stuff and nothing else. But then I thought this would make sense to kind of print for other people when I'm not printing my own stuff, right? Because when you have your own brand, you're not printing for yourself every day. It just, unless you're moving shit tons of volume, which I was not. Like, we were making good money. Like, my brand was doing, just breaking the cusp of like 6 figures when it was at its best, and that was like a long time ago. I was just a small little operation out of a bedroom, but to be doing 6 figures out of a bedroom is pretty fucking awesome. But yeah, you're not printing for yourself that much. You're only doing it once every month, maybe. And I was like, man, that's a lot of downtime for this very expensive equipment to be sitting here. So why not start printing for other people? And then when I started printing for other people, that's when I noticed, like, this is where the money is to be made, because I'm making way more doing this right out of the gate. And, my margins are obviously lower, but there's far more steady work. And it just seems like a better long-term solution. And then after I started noticing to run both was just taking too much, that's when I decided to make the switch and do the print shop solely. I tried to come back with clothing brands again after I got a little bigger, got an auto, figured I'd be able to handle a little bit more. And it was the exact opposite, because the print shop just kept growing and growing and growing and needed way more of my attention. That, again, I had that little clothing brand that I was doing for a short while there with a partner, and I shut that thing down too, because I was like, I just can't give this any of my attention. It makes no sense, because the print shop is growing at a gigantic rate here, and it's making serious money, and this little clothing brand is not. And if I focus on that clothing brand, then the print shop's going to fall off along with it. So now it's I've learned my lesson. It is a singular focus, print shop, and that's it. And just sharing, obviously, what I do with the print shop with everybody else through YouTube. But thankfully, I have employees for that. I will say, though, touching on this subject, if you have employees, if you're a bigger operation, you have people that you can delegate these tasks to, then I can say it is definitely possible to do so. Because like we do with the YouTube, I have Ed who works here. He does our filming and editing now ever since, how long has it been now? 6 months or more, whatever it's been. Ever since I've been able to pass all that to him, now the YouTube side to me it's a very small part of my day, if any. So that's how we're able to kind of get all this done. Because before, YouTube was pulling my attention in a different direction, of course, too, when I was having to film and edit all this shit myself. And that's why I used to do videos like once a month at best. And even when I did that, I was like, fuck, like I got so much other stuff I got to do. But of course, I have obligations for YouTube, so I got to make sure I do them. Now that we got Ed in the mix, easy peasy. Much, much easier. Here we go. How often do you turn down a job? Interesting, because I just did today. I have clients come to me with a part they need made and say, if you can beat X dollars, I'll have you make it. Oh, this is part one. Part two, how do you tell a client to find someone who can make it better for the same price versus finding cheaper? So if people come to you looking for the best deal, I just fucking axe them right there. I don't even try. I'm over it. Because if they're looking for deals, they're not the customer for us, because we are not a shop that aims at giving deals. We are a shop that aims at giving you the best, and getting the best costs money. So anytime I've had someone come in and offer and ask a similar question to that, like, hey, I fired a gigantic client for this, actually, like what would have been a very big client. And I said, no, I passed on them because they wanted me to match pricing from another shop that was it was absurd. I did the math on it, and I was like, I know this shop, what they cost to operate and what these shirts cost to make, and they are fucking scraping pennies off the top of these shirts at best. Like, they were making no money on this stuff just to retain this client. And so I said, like, no, I'm not budging on my pricing even a little bit. And you guys are going to have to deal with that. If you guys want top tier quality, you come to us, because we will blow them out of the water. Like, you've seen what we can do, and that's why you're talking to us right now, because your shit sucked before. And they're like, well, you got to come down and come down a little bit and whatever. You got to come down like $3-4 a shirt, and then we'll come to you. And I was like, fine. If you want me to come down $3-4 a shirt, do you want me to put $3-4 less effort into every one of those shirts? Because we can do that, and then we'll just match exactly what you've gotten made at the other place. We'll just fucking half-ass it and spit these things out to you and not care. Do you guys want that? And they're like, no. Well, I was like, well, then fucking you pay $3-4 a shirt extra. That's what you're paying for. And they started trying to argue with me on that, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to tell you right now, we're not the shop for you. And they're just like, well, this is like a $30,000 order, and blah, blah, blah. You don't want that kind of business? And I was like, honestly, no, I don't, because I don't want to sacrifice and our integrity and what we do in this business, period. Like, we've set a standard here, and that's why people come to us. We're not going to jeopardize that for you. We can find other business. It's fine. And we passed on them. And needless to say, their shirts right now suck balls. I saw them. They're terrible. So it's unfortunate, because we designed all their branding and whatever else, and like whoever's doing it is fucking it up in major ways, and it sucks to see our work out there like that, but what can you do? But yeah, we pass on work all the time. So when people want to deal all that type of stuff, they're honestly not worth your time. Like, you can put a little bit into them and try and get them to come up and be like, hey, like, this is the value that we offer. This is why we charge X amount of dollars for what we do. If that's cool with you, then sweet, we will be happy to work with you. But otherwise, we're not willing to, lower our standards to meet your budget. Ooh, that was good. Lower your standards to meet your budget. I'm going to write that one down for next time. Next time I got to fire someone like that. But we'll turn down other stuff too, just day-to-day stuff that we just straight up don't want to do. Someone was asking me for like rash guards today, and I don't want to print that shit. I mean, that seems like a nightmare to me. So we'll stick with what we know. We'll turn that down, because sometimes like it's smarter for you to turn down jobs and to do what you're good at, because you'll make more money in the long run. A lot of people will just take any job that comes in the door thinking, hey, this is money, but then they got to fucking fight with it for hours and hours and hours, waste a bunch of time where they could have just pumped out another job, a different job that was more within their wheelhouse, and made money. So you got to watch yourself on that too. I used to fall victim to that when I was starting off a lot, because I would take every job that came in the door and just be hating life sometimes. And once I learned to say no, my life got a lot easier, and we ended up becoming more successful and making more money. Oh shit, it is. Thank you for the reminder, 24 South Apparel. I have a hard time with keeping these things short. I already went for an hour almost. Yeah, we should throw the teaser up. I got to get to my workout and then get back to making these SOPs, man. So I'm going to throw our teaser up right now. I will answer one last question after it's done, and then we wrap this thing up. But here's our teaser for this week's video. Oh, I better turn the volume up and not mess that up. There we go.
I found a huge problem with my business last week, and we got to start fixing it right now. Last week, I got pretty sick. We're talking stuck in bed, not able to come to work type of sick. And I learned real fast that my business is still very, very vulnerable.
Oh, I messed up.
Is that a match?
I messed up. I put the wrong video in there. Hold on. Let's see if we can do this live without it turning to shit. Let's see here. Hold on one second. It's going to kind of play that teaser again. Man, I've been so good with these, and I've just been making mistakes lately. All right, one sec. Hold on. I'm going to get this going. Gutter Creek. That's the one we want. Okay, here you go.
Got some really cool sim process printing to get through. Let's get after it. So something cool happened this morning. Facebook reminded me of this post that I put up 6 years ago. 6 years ago today, I announced that I was going to start my shop, Rogue Lab. This hiring process was a weird one, but out of all that, we found our guy, Brad.
You may be the most capable person that has ever come through this door. That's one less thing to be stressed out on today.
Anyway, yeah, so he's going to be our new, hopefully permanent embroidery replacement. Say hello to Brad. Get used to this face.
Sant, let's go. Let's rock it.
Jordan, how are you feeling about sim process printing so far today?
I'm gonna make it my bitch.
Exactly what I want to hear.
I'm not nervous at all.
Oh, what's up, man? Dan's almost never in the videos. He's the reclusive member of the Rogue Lab team is finally here.
Jordan, how does it feel to feel tall?
Why, am I taller than Dan?
Oh my God, finally!
All right, cool. Some technical difficulties there. Anyways, that's the video coming out this Sunday. It's a good one. We introduced Brad, our newest employee. Again, he's been here for 3 months now, so it's weird that we're introducing him now. But yeah, we got that. We got talking about how the shop grew in the past 6 years, which is pretty crazy to kind of see that post the day that we shot that video, and kind of get into a little bit about that and how it happened and whatever else. We get through some sim process stuff, teaching more stuff to Jordan. It's a good one. It's a great video. I like that one a lot, actually. I just approved it the other day. Ed did a killer job on it. Ed's been crushing it on the edits lately. So let's knock out one more question real quick before I shut this down and get my ass to work. Is this the time of year getting into a slow period for printing, or is it still busy until the end of the year for businesses to use apparel as a tax write-off? So for us, I can't speak for anyone else, but for us, we are slammed at this time of year. It seems like from October through November, even a little bit into December, that's when a lot of people really go hard on getting a lot of merch. It seems like it's something like a lot of businesses use as like gifts for their employees and things like that. So we last year, at least, I think in November, we did our biggest month by a long shot, and it was like almost by double compared to the other months. It was fucking huge, the amount of sales we did. And like clothing brands get stocked up for Christmas and that kind of thing. So there's generally like between October and November, it's the busiest that we ever go by far. And then it seems like mid-December to end of December, obviously end of December, it's just everything nosedives completely. So that's how it goes. And then like end of December to like early January, that's very slow for us. And then it starts ramping back up again slowly. And then when spring hits, it's just like, bam, we're back in full force. But generally, yeah, every year we've seen a pretty sharp increase in business between end of September through mid-December, something like that. So get ready for it. Now's the time, if you're going to start marketing, like do an email marketing, get in front of people for deals and things like that, especially for businesses, now's the time to be dumping that stuff out. Like anyone who belongs to the Rogue Lab email list, like you're going to see me pumping this shit out once a week, different deals. Because that's That's where we make a lot of money. So it's opportune time for selling, everybody. Get yourself out there, get in front of some people, and do what you can do. So I'm gonna knock this one out real fast just because it's going to take me 5 seconds to answer. What program do you use for doing color separations? So for vector, we use Illustrator. For raster, Photoshop. That is it. You need to have both. That's a must-have for printers. I know a lot of people are trying to avoid having the Adobe suite because it costs a lot of money. It's worth every penny. Suck it up and buy it if you want to do this stuff at a professional level. You need to have it. It's the industry standard. So it'll make your life a lot easier when you know that stuff and you learn it and start applying it to your business. So anyway, I'm going to cut this thing off. Go, what's my workout for today? Let's have a little look-see. It's going to be a fucking nightmare, I'm sure. Yeah. We're doing like back, biceps, and some delts, whatever those are. I don't even know what this shit is. Oh man, Evergood merch here he's here for the first time, and I'm leaving. God damn it. Well, good to see you here anyways, man. It's awesome. You guys want to follow a good printer on Instagram? Go follow Evergood merch because he does fucking super sick work. Like really, really sick work. I'm going to go lift some stuff up. Thank you guys for watching as usual. Drop a like on this video on your way out so it helps us spread the word a little bit. And watch out for that video coming out this Sunday. We'll see you again on the live stream next week. Thank you guys.